Hey everybody, I have something here today I'm really excited about. I have a NeoPixel lightsaber from NSabers. They sent this along for me to review, and how could I say no? There is literally no toy as an adult that resonates like a cool new style lightsaber. And I think you'll see exactly what I mean. I have had other lightsabers before, but the difference between the ones that I had, which are base lit, and this NeoPixel one is this one has LEDs up the entire blade, which lets you do different ignition effects and a whole bunch of other things. The base lit ones, they don't look bad. NSaber sells those too, but they basically just have a light in the hilt that shines up the blade. They can't do that scaling ignition like a real lightsaber can, but the NeoPixel ones, they sure can. Let's get right into this box and check out what is inside. I am so excited to finally have a chance to open this up. Right away, we have a manual, which I will be checking out just to make sure that I can display all the sounds and effects and features to everyone. We have a display stand, which that's a really cool thing to include. I'm impressed by that. It came with gloves. How fancy. NSaber's logo on there. Gloves are on. We have a toolkit. I like the idea of this. I'm gonna take these gloves off though. I'm assuming this is so you don't get fingerprints on the blade and the hilt when you're showing it off. All right, we have a piece there, USB cable for charging, and this metal, I bet you this goes on the display stand. I'm gonna take a quick look here again. I noticed that this must peel off. It does. These seem the same both ways. Oh, do these have a protective thing on them too? They do. I'll get all this after. You don't need me to show you how to peel off protective plastic on camera. And here we go, the main event. I was asked if I would review this Mandalorian lightsaber, and I was excited to do so. Oh, now I kind of want to wear the gloves. I love how the Mandalorian part of things is very, very subtle. If it was over the top Mandalorian themed, I wouldn't like that as much probably, but I like how this is done. This has a good weight to it. Let's get this charged up and then attach the blade. If you've never bought a lightsaber, they're so worth having. They're so fun if you're a Star Wars fan at all. Little Allen key fell out there. Oh no, oh poop. In that bag were the little screws that I need to hold my blade in. I feel like one of them fell on the floor. Please be careful of that. I'll be right back. By some absolute miracle, I found it on my floor. Keep these 4 screws safe. And lastly, our blade is underneath. What's exciting about this one, I've had a couple other lightsabers, but this one is a NeoPixel lightsaber, which means the LEDs go up the entire blade. So I can't wait to see what it looks like. Let's get this charged up. So for this blaster to charge it up, I believe we open up the pommel here. Oh, nope, that's like a sound chamber? How do we get into the battery? Okay, we just twist the entire pommel here, and here we go, and now we're exposed to the charging. Charge in. All right, so we'll charge that for a couple minutes, and then we'll see what we do next. You take that little rubber cap off, and then you can see where power feeds in, I guess, to the LEDs. And I'll take this plastic wrap off the blade once I am ready to attach it. I'm gonna pretend that's charged enough for now. I'm too eager to try this out. Screw that in. I gotta admit, I don't actually know how this works. Let's go back to the instructions. It doesn't really seem to say, so I don't know what this is. Some lightsaber reviewer I am. We're going to put this in here, and there are some screws. Those little tiny screws need to be put in around the base of the blaster to make sure it holds it in tight. I assume one in there and one in there. Power on. Oh, very cool. I haven't screwed it in yet. I just wanted to make sure that it would make contact. I think I can turn this off. I just held the button for a second. We'll get into all the controls after. I'm going to put a couple screws in this and one in there. Not tightening it very much yet because I want to make sure that it's held evenly. I'm guessing some of the other designs would have 4, but this one is a little unique. So keep my screw there. I have my display stand together, and this is basically just a cool little blade plug or blade butt plug, as Reddit called it, that goes in when you're just storing it so that you can still light it up and it protects the electronics. Cool. Let's get to the other view so I can properly review this. I'm just gonna interject for a second. I'm about to go through a bunch of features and things that this lightsaber can do. And I just have to say, one reason I said yes to reviewing this, even though I'm a Nerf guy, is even in Nerf, we have game modes where we have Jedis. And it might be something where they have to be tagged in the back, or maybe only a certain high caliber ammo can get them, like Mega XL or rockets. We actually work those into different game modes and game types. So it's always cool to have that kind of stronger character out on the field. There's also tons and tons of Star Wars blasters and things like that in the Nerf universe as well. We actually have the Mandalorian blaster that was a Nerf limited blaster. It was not my favorite, but there's all sorts of connections to Star Wars. And also I said yes because, you know, I'm just a big kid. Every time I see an automatic door, I do what a lot of you guys do. I do this as if I'm opening it with the Force. You know you've done it. Buckle in, and I hope you enjoy just seeing a little bit of what this can do. It can do a lot more than I'm going to show you. I would definitely recommend one of these. I have an affiliate link down in the description and in the comments. If you do want to get one, I'd appreciate you using that. This thing is just so fun to walk around with, especially when you have the lights down low. Everybody needs a good lightsaber. All right, back to the review. I swear, and you know what, camera doesn't do it justice. There's just nothing like these lightsabers that you can get now. They are amazing. This one, just like we saw in the unboxing, you can see the light glowing through that Mandalorian style symbol on the hilt. I like that it's not overdone. You know, it's not like you have his helmet on your pommel here. It's just kind of worked into the design. You can see the light kind of around the ring. The hilt itself is very basic, very clean. You've seen inside of that in the unboxing. Let's go through a few of the different things you can do in ignitions. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's a lot of different combinations. When the blade is already on, and this is in dark saber mode, that's what these sounds are right now. I've switched it over to that mode. You can, by pressing this little button, all the controls are one button, this glowing LED here. I can do kind of a lockup effect if I just hold that for a second. That's as if I'm clashing with someone. If I make this LED blink twice, I can change the color and I can cycle through a whole bunch of different colors. If I press this button while it's on, it'll make a deflection sound. And again, there are a whole bunch of sound sets for this blaster. You can also turn it off and on by twisting the hilt, just like that. So when the blaster's off, you have access to a few settings. If you press in this button for one blink, you can cycle through the different sound settings. That was on a low volume, now it's on mute. Volume high. And now we're on volume high, which is probably better for this. If I hold this for 2 blinks, counter ignition. This will go through all of the different types of ignition. I will admit a lot of the ignition styles are not really my thing. I think I mostly like the base ignition. I don't really like light starting at the tip of the blade and filling back in. I want my lightsaber coming out of the hilt. Like I said, there's a bunch of these that you can cycle through. And they do look cool, especially when you have all of the lights off as well. So 3 blinks when this lightsaber is on will turn Clash on and off. And what Clash does, as you can imagine, is it makes a noise if you hit something. Pretty cool. 2, 3. Now, I can also cycle through a bunch of different blade styles. So there's ignition styles that you can combo with blade styles. This is blade 7. So it's kind of a pulsating blade, and that was the ignition style from the last one. I'm gonna try to change my ignition style to something a little bit more normal. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna need a strobe warning at the start of this video. So again, a whole bunch of different ignitions, a whole bunch of blade styles, and then if you let it blink 4 times, this is where you can cycle through a bunch of different character sound sets and presets for ignition and blade colors. I assume that's General Grievous. It's like a rainbow. I don't know if you can really see. That's kind of bizarre. I don't think that's Grievous. Let's see what else we got. That's a nice classic blade right there. That looks pretty good. Temple Guard. This thing is so much fun. I do love that you can use gestures to turn it off and to turn it back on.
Star Killer.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, as you can see, we are a long way from the days of going into Toys R Us or a store and having to pick which character you're going to get. These new lightsabers can be anyone, any color blade, and that makes it so great and so flexible for cosplaying. Ooh, the bright white Ahsoka lightsaber style. Yoda? That's not Yoda's color. That's more Yoda-y. Maybe those different presets don't preset everything. It might look at where you have everything dialed. It is a little bit cumbersome to set all those settings with one button, and the button does different things on different numbers of blinks depending on if it's off or on. But generally, when you're out doing your thing, you're probably going to be one character and have it set as one blade. So it's probably not that big a deal. As a grown man who still does this, whenever he approaches automatic doors, I am a big fan and super grateful to have this. It is awesome. It looks so cool.
Tell me, is this training? My training? No. Always training the university.
I love all that. You can even get this to play theme music. It does a lot. There are a bunch of motion controls that I'm still kind of getting the hang of too. It is possible to kind of point the blade down, which isn't really good for the review, and cycle through some of the different colors or options depending on which way you have the lightsaber pointed. I keep wanting to say blaster. And it even has sound effects for like poking and stabbing that are a little bit different than some of the other effects. You can also do like a floor drag thing too, where you can make the tip light up as you're dragging it along a surface or floor. Hey everyone, one part of this review that I almost missed entirely is the fact that this one can connect via Bluetooth. Connecting was a breeze. I turned the lightsaber on, I opened up the app, I hit that connect button, and now all of those things that were kind of tricky to do using one button to navigate, I can preview here. I can hit blade effects, and it will bring up an entire list of these effects. Well, hold on here. I guess I need to be a little closer. That's okay. So I can turn it on. And let me tuck this in my arm here. I can turn that on and I can preview all the different sounds. I can turn on background music. And I can even switch my blade color quickly here and style. I can change my sounds. I can switch my effects. And I can switch my volume and my ignition effects. Because in the other part of the video, you saw me doing that. It was a little bit fumbly again to do it all with one button. It's cool that you can, but it's even cooler if I'm previewing for the perfect sound, light, ignition combination. I can do it all through this ForcePark V2 app. You can even tweak the sensitivity of the swings and all of those things as well. I just wanted to include some information on the app because I think that's actually a really good selling point. And I also want to give a big thanks to the folks at NSabers, not only for sending this, but for being so patient. I went through a move, a job change, a whole bunch of stuff, and I apologize for being late after they reached out with the long form version. I had done some short videos and they couldn't have been kinder and more patient about it. Now let's get back to that footage that I filmed a while ago. Final thoughts. This Mandalorian NSabers blaster is about $140. You can save a little bit with that affiliate link. I think it is well worth it. The construction quality seems really good. I like it a lot. If that feels a little steep, I think you could do without the NeoPixel version. The baselit does look really good when it's lit. The biggest thing would be you just don't get that really nice animation at the start of it igniting, which looks really sharp in the dark. But once it's on, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Just to compare, this is an older lightsaber that I already had. This one is base lit, and you can see how it turns on. It just kind of fades on and fades off. But as far as brightness goes, it's pretty bright. This NSabers one is maybe 2.5, 3 inches shorter than my other one, but I like the length of this one a lot. This one almost feels a little bit too long when you're waving it around. Go check out the site, see if you like the look of this one, or just check out some of the other really cool looking lightsabers. NSaber also has a lot more options for kind of more replica blasters as well. Let me know if you have any questions, put those in the comments down below. And until then, may the Force be with you.